Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It's Monday, February 23rd. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, the local market is set to open higher. SPI futures indicating a 0.1% move in a positive direction. Among the companies reporting results this morning, global plumbing supply group Reece has reported a 20% fall in first half net profit, while salary packaging and Novata leasing group McMillan Shakespeare posting a close to 10% increase in net profit for the half. Well, more volatility is expected on global markets after President Trump slapped a new 10% tariff on all imports to the US and upped that to 15% following US Supreme Court ruling striking down his tariff regime. US stocks advanced on Friday in response, and for the week the S&P rose just over 1%, the Nasdaq 1.5% higher, and the Dow edged up 0.25%. In Friday's trade, Alphabet, Amazon and Apple were among the best performing mega caps. Shares of US retailers jumped after the Supreme Court tariffs ruling, providing a relief to businesses which took a major hit owing to tariff-related costs such as sportswear and apparel companies Nike, Under Armour and Crocs. Among other stocks seen as benefiting were toy maker Hasbro, online retailer Wayfair and Pottery Barn owner Williams-Sonoma. Akamai Technology shares slumped after the cloud company forecast first quarter adjusted profit below Wall Street estimates, and that saw shares in CrowdStrike and Oracle suffer also. Among the companies reporting this week are AI bellwether Nvidia, as well as software players Salesforce and Intuit, and AI infrastructure players Dell and CoreWeave. Well, the US Supreme Court has struck down President Trump's sweeping tariffs, deemed illegal because he pursued them under a law meant for use in national emergencies. The President responded within hours of the ruling on Friday, slapping a new 10% tariff on all imports and ordering new trade investigations that could lead to additional levies in months. And then less than 24 hours later, he raised that rate to 15%, the maximum level allowed under the law. Well, in the latest US data, fourth quarter GDP growth came in at an annualised rate of 1.4%. December personal income and spending rose 0.3% and 0.4% respectively, while core PCE inflation rose 3% year on year. Manufacturing and services PMIs both fell. US Treasury yields rose following the US Supreme Court ruling, the US 2-year yield rising to 3.48%, the 10-year was up to 4.08%. Australian 3-year government bond yields are around 4.3% and the 10-year close to 4.75%. The US dollar index closed down slightly on the day on Friday. The Aussie dollar is trading at 70.8 US cents. President Trump has said he's considering a limited military strike on Iran, dialing up the pressure on the regime to make a deal over its nuclear program. Brent crude prices rose in response. Brent crude futures close to $72 a barrel. Gold rose on the weaker than expected US GDP data and expected volatility around US tariffs. Spot gold up around 2%. At $5,100 an ounce. Copper was also up around 2%. And Bitcoin is currently trading below 68,000 US dollars. Well, it is quiet on the data front to begin the week. The key release locally will be January's inflation data on Wednesday. RBA Governor Michelle Bullock is due to speak also on that day. Thursday sees fourth quarter private capex. And among the companies out with earnings results today are Ampol, Austal, EOS, Genesis Minerals, Kogan, Lendlease, NIB and Regis Resources. That is your day ahead. See you again tomorrow.